Good day, class. Dr. Sanchez. My name is SadeRitter. Today I will be going over job supply versus job demand. In the retirement mostly of the baby boomers, this paper will focus on who were considered baby boomers, who are going to replace the baby boomers, and what are generation replacing the baby boomers made of. How will the human resource team replace the baby boomer generation as they start to phase out of the workforce? How is it going to impact the workforce going forward? Recruiting 21st century workers, and how they'll retain them. Getting prepared for the generational shift in the workforce. With the aging of the population in Western societies, has produced great concern and interest in the recent years. As the so-called baby boomers begin to retire, leaving a seemingly depleted workforce. A mass brain drain that threatens to destabilize American businesses. Many companies are unprepared for the challenge. Many baby boomers are the go-to people in their organization, and with this, they leave the organization human resources facing a problem of having a surplus of jobs and not having a surplus of qualified individuals to fill the position. The forecasting for the following years to come, from now until 2030. Approximately 10,000 baby boomers each day will hit retirement age. Millions will begin to officially retire, collect Social Security checks, and go on Medicare. Other baby boomers will keep on working, either out of financial necessity or out of some less tangible need like identity and self-worth. A baby boomer is a term used to describe people that were born during the period of time right after World War II. Born between the years of 1946 through 1964. This generation was one of the largest in American history, and is perhaps one of the most important right now when it comes to the workforce. This group of people have very unique personalities, and their life history are vastly different than today's younger generation. Baby boomers make up to 28% of the population. With them leaving the workforce, they leave behind a huge workplace talent gap. That being said, what should we know about the generation that will take over the workforce in the next years to come? The generation that will take over the workforce for the years to come are Generation X, also coined the baby bus. This generation is one of the smallest generations to be born, following the baby boomer era. Born between 1966 to 1979, this generation is only made up of 41 million people. Generation Xers are sometimes referred to as the lost generation. Generation X is often characterized by the high level of skepticism. They're always wanting to know what's in it for them kind of attitude they hold. Generation Xers are arguably the best educated generation, with 29% obtaining a bachelor's degree or higher, 6% higher than the previous group, and with that, most education. Not all Generation Xers will continue to work full-time. Many of them are at the stage in life where they will have children or parents that they must care for. On the other hand, we have Generation Y. Generation Y, also known as the Echo Boomers or the Millennials. They were born between the years of 1980 and 1994. This current population makes up of 71 million people. Generation Y kids are known to be incredibly cultured, technology-wise, immune to most traditional marketing and sales pitches. Generation Y members are much more racially and ethnically diverse. Generation Y are less brand loyal, and the speed of internet has led the group to be very flexible. This group has experienced the effects of 20+ years of offshoring of American jobs and the explosive growth of online companies. Generation Y, oldest in this group, being 38. There is going to be some kind of skill gap because the majority of them are just graduating out of college. This reduces the pool of highly educated talent. Now that we know who will be replacing the baby boomers, let's take a look at how human resources are going to recruit them into the organization. How will human resources recruit the younger generation as baby boomer generation as they phase out of the workforce? The human resources will have to use succession planning and strategic planning. The reason for the combination of these two are succession planning focuses on identifying a plan for the orderly replacement of key employees, while strategic planning and talent management identify the most important jobs in a company that provide a long-term competitive advantage. Then creates an appropriate HR policy to develop the employees so that they can be effective on the job. Technology with new age generation are more tech savvy and rely heavily on technology when searching for a job. Also, companies that offer more technology gives potential employees the opportunity to work from home and to communicate more with technology. As mentioned before, the new generation prefers to have a flexible work arrangement to suit their personal lifestyle, whatever it may be. From dealing with their kids or parents or just taking time to go to the gym, flexible work is appealing to them. Childcare. Childcare, with so many of the generation ranging in childbearing age and more females in the workforce than ever, childcare being offered from companies can attract more potential workers into their field. Retaining the new generation. HR teams will have to focus on the job satisfactions of both generations to retain their new hires. Job satisfaction has been the leading factor in retaining employees. With job satisfaction being met, employees are less likely to resign from organization and increase job productivity. Knowing what motivates these groups plays a role in how to retain them on the job. With Generation X, it is proven that they are self-motivated and see external motivation as a form of manipulation, which tends to demotivate them. But one can win them over with recognizing their achievements and promoting them from within, and giving them more responsibility and offering more job challenges. With Generation Y, they are motivated with new technology challenges, which encourage them to be more creative at work. Keeping them in the loop has always been proven to be a good method for them as well. Having a shared goal as them will keep them loyal to your organization. With a laid-back environment that they can flourish and have open and continuous feedback, this can improve their professional skills as well. How will this affect the 21st century? The new generation of workers will change how the workplace handle workplace balance, offering more flexible schedules to accommodate all generations. It will change how organizations train and develop new candidates for replacements of the baby boomers. Because of the high risk of turnover, management will have to access new ways to transfer technical knowledge to newcomers. Also, with the new generation placing greater personal value over their goals than work-related goals, management will have to find ways to tie their goals into the goals of their future employees. Not only that, because the mass retirement of baby boomers and the smaller generation that follows put candidates in the driver's seats. Organizations will need to woo prospective employees and manage the candidate's experience to attract those with valuable skills and experience to their organization. In conclusion, based on the research conducted, the baby boomers have placed organizations at a large disadvantage because they have made up such a large number of the workforce in the past. This has created the need for human resources team to be more creative when recruiting new hires from the upcoming generation. The baby boomers were more of a live to work group versus the current generation, which is a more work to live. My recommendation is that organizations come up with a transitioning program within the company made up of baby boomers and potentially new candidates to fill the opening in the organization. With this, organizations can create a candidacy pool filled with qualified individuals learning from each other, as the generation baby boomers enjoys teaching and mentoring new oncomers. This will make for a great project in organizations. Not only that, the forecast for demand of qualified candidates has been predicted to fill the roles of baby boomers. With the mass retirement of baby boomers and the smaller generations that follows, this puts candidates in the driver's seats. Not only that, unprepared organizations will have a surplus of unfilled jobs and will have to compete differently than they did in the past in recruiting and retaining newer generation. With wooing the prospective employees and managing the candidate experience in order to attract those with valuable skills and experience than they did in the past.